Okay, so welcome to our February event, Safety on Internet. So I'm Duke, and I'm from York Mills Collegiate Institute, and I'm now in grade 10, and I'm also the head of events in this organization.
Yep. So, hello guys. My name is Ada, and I am the founder of this Toronto chapter of Future Unchained, as well as the president. And I hope that through our event we can just, be a bit more informative and educational on the cause of human trafficking and let you guys know more about it, as well as just empowering the victims in what we are doing and just sharing their experience and trauma to prevent more people from experiencing this. And so, first of all, before we start, I'd like to do a little news release. You can see that just on this month, we had 106 news releases regarding missing people. Some were found, some were not. And this is even just a month with 28 days, right? And so this is something that is really important in our community and serious in the city that we live in. And it's just important that we are aware of this. So next we have an introduction on what Future Unchained is. So Future Unchained is a nonprofit organization where we aim to serve and empower victims of human trafficking. We're founded in California, but we have also expanded to various places like Toronto and just other cities in California like Irvine and Orange Valley and all that. And next up, we have our work. So our main chapter or parent organization, we have achieved many feats, including publishing a highly detailed curriculum on our website, which you can just check out by scanning that QR code or going to future-unchained.org. And we have also hosted many various workshops in person and virtual. And our Future Unchained Toronto, we have just started hosting events last month, and this is our second event. And just as a chance, I'd like to introduce our members. So first of all, let's go to Duke, who is our head of events and the leader who organized this event.
Okay, hi everyone again. I am Duke, and again, as Ada mentioned, I'm the head of events, and I'm mainly working on organizing event with my department. And I'm also excited to bring you guys interesting future events. And now I'll pass to another event member, Dilaksha.
Hello, I'm Dilaksha. I'm in grade 10. My pronouns are she/her. I'm from Sir John A. Macdonald Collegiate Institute, and I'm one of the event organizers, and I collaborated with my team members to create this wonderful event for you guys.
Next up, we have Reina, who is also part of the events team and helped out with working on this event.
Yeah, hi. My name is Rina. I'm in grade 11. We worked hard to put this together, so I hope you guys enjoy.
And we also have Parmis, who's our head of PR, who helped out with outreaching and promoting this event. And if Parmis would like to introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, so happy to see you all here. You probably got an email from me yesterday or over the past couple of days informing you of this event. I'm happy to see you all here.
And lastly, we have Ms. Fick, who helped posting all our social media posts. And yeah, if you'd like to introduce yourself, that would be great.
So hey, I'm Mushfiq. I'm currently a grade 11 student at Danforth Collegiate Technical Institute. And as Ada just said, I was the one who posted a few of the Instagram posts telling you guys about such as this event that would happen today.
Yeah, we have a lot of other members who are, just helping out with all the stuff that we have been doing, but they will, you will get to know them eventually as well. So you can look forward to meeting new of our people, or maybe even join us just by applying to be one of our volunteers. So next we have a little just definition on what human trafficking is. So what is human trafficking? Human trafficking is the transporting of victims for monetary, labor, or sexual intentions, and it is considered modern day slavery. And in most cases, the victims, they will experience just unrecoverable trauma from this horrific experience. So next up is a overview for today. So as you guys probably know, our not slogan, but the theme for today is just staying safe on the internet. So how do you stay safe on the internet? We have quite a few parts to this. First, we're going to talk about what sugar dating is and how to stay from online dating apps, online job finders, and how to protect yourself on the internet, how to protect yourself in person with like what type of equipment you can have, as well as a technology that helped with solving many missing people's cases, which is called Amber Alerts. And so to start us off today, we have Meta introducing all about sugar dating. So
our first topic is sugar dating and how it works and so on and so forth. So what exactly is sugar dating? Well, sugar dating or sugaring is defined as a relationship where an older, wealthier person of any sexuality secures an intimate relationship from a younger, financially struggling person of any sexuality through emotional manipulation, money, lavish dates, vacations, and other gifts. Now, where does this all start or take place? Well, there are multiple sites and apps just to search away for one to take part in this relationship. One popular site and app is Sugar Daddy and Seeking, respectively. However, things don't always go as planned for many individuals. It often leads to many forms of manipulation and sexual exploitation. To add on, harassment, sexual assault, and manipulation of financial arrangements lead to rape. Sugar dating isn't safe and it isn't an empowering system. It is an inherently exploitative. Now, what do they even do in this relationship? Well, the younger individual of the relationship, like mentioned before, also known as the quote unquote sugar baby, usually takes part in such a relationship for the financial support it brings in addition to other personal benefits. The sugar baby gets to potentially show off gifts and money. In fact, the average sugar baby allowance is $2,000 to $2,500, and the older individual of the relationship benefits from other personal pleasures which they were not able to gain before the sugaring relationship. So the main question all of you might be asking yourself is, how does this lead to human trafficking? Well, to be specific, sugar dating mostly relates to sex trafficking. We will watch a short video about this later on, but as an overview, the most common scenario are females in school signing up to be a sugar baby to pay down student debt. But in some cases, it could be a single mother who signed up to feed and house her children, or a person in the LGBTQ2+ community who cannot find gainful employment. Once that commercial sex boundary has been crossed in the relationship, that person is more vulnerable to manipulations of a trafficker, possibly, and the sugar daddy is in an ideal situation to be the trafficker. The control dynamic is heavily weighted to the side of the sugar daddy, and this means that they basically have an upper hand as they're the financial provider for the younger individual. And the worst part is that the ones who undergo the trauma of harassment and more are usually too shy or reluctant to surface themselves. Finally, to put everything together, here's a short video on sugar dating and how it can lead to sex trafficking.
The LA Police Commission is asking the LA City Council to protect anti-trafficking efforts from budget cuts. This week, the panel heard firsthand accounts of LAPD officers who recently rescued 33 missing children from sex traffickers in a joint local and federal sting.
While the funding is up for debate, all agreed more public awareness is needed, even during a pandemic. Joining us this morning is Mary David, a human trafficking expert and sexual trauma specialist. Good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good to see you too.
You know, one of the tactics used by these criminals is something called sugar dating. So explain what that is and how it lures victims, and why you say that it really is dangerous when TV shows and media glamorize it.
Sugar dating is the gateway drug to sex trafficking. Girls have these dreams of going out on dates, having nice conversations, taking trips with sugar mamas and daddies, thinking that it's just going to be that, just having those nice experiences, not knowing that they're going to be pressured into having sex. The premise of pairing older, wealthy men with young, economically disadvantaged women is creating a system ripe for exploitation. Sugar dating websites are actually cross-promoting on porn sites, X-rated hobby boards, and targeting college students who have a lot of debt debt, are living on their own, looking for flexible ways to make money. And this isn't about shaming sugar babies. It's really about painting a fuller picture, because the media is glamorizing what's going on. You have magazines like Elle touting how freeing and innocuous sugar dating is, and now underage girls are signing up because of all of the hype. There was just a lawyer who was arrested for sex trafficking minors that he met on a sugar dating website, one of whom was in braces. This really is about painting a more accurate picture, because girls think that they're going to be living a dream, and in reality, it turns out to be a nightmare.
Last summer, police raided a number of parties here in Southern California. They thought they were going in to cite them for violating curfew, and then officers found and rescued trafficking victims. What are some of the ways that people are being targeted and exploited?
They are being targeted through social media apps like TikTok, Instagram, the gaming app Discord. Traffickers are actually looking up hashtags like "I feel ugly," "My life sucks," "I'm depressed," and using those as access points for making contact with victims and building this relationship with them. Youth are online more hours of the day than ever before, so it's so much easier to access them.
The Super Bowl is next Sunday, and the Institute for Sports and Social Justice has found a notable increase in trafficking related to the Super Bowl. Why is Tampa already a major target, and what's going on there when it comes to Super Bowl weekend?
Well, Tampa ranks 12th in the nation per capita for human trafficking cases to begin with. On top of that, victims are now, instead of going to hotels, they're forced out onto the street, and so the tracks are filling up again. Pimps are not understanding of the fact that we're in a pandemic. They still have quotas for victims to reach who are just trying to survive. And so when you have big sporting events like this, it just draws in more people, and it creates this culture where accessing activities like commercial sex just are more attractive.
How do they crack down on it?
Well, there are a number of different things that are being done in Florida. Now the AG's office and Uber have teamed up together to provide trainings for drivers. Airbnb is actually also hosting trainings for the hosts. And we're hoping that this has an impact not only now during the Super Bowl, but more long term.
All right, Mary, thanks for being with us this morning. Mary David is a human trafficking expert and sexual trauma specialist who travels the country speaking to groups and raising awareness. For more, you can check out her website and follow her on social media.
Now moving on, we have some statistics. So about 40% of sex trafficking victims are recruits online in the United States. More than or equal to 50% of the online human trafficking in the US involves Facebook, and more than 8 million female sugar babies and more than 2 million sugar daddies are on seeking agreements, which is super high. And finally, 13% of all post-secondary students in Canada had tried sugar dating. Now, finally, here are some simple tips on being safe around sugar dating. It is important to understand what you are doing, what you're getting yourself into. So be sure to look out for what you are agreeing to and asking questions if you're unsure of anything. And finally, if you require any financial help, try looking at multiple other ways to get money, like banks or family, rather than trying to please another individual for it, because it can cause a lot of physical and emotional trauma that cannot be erased.
And now we're moving to dating apps.
Okay, so let's get into dating apps and talk about how it plays a significant role in causing human trafficking to take place. So here we have a short video on how Tinder is being used to lure victims into sex trafficking. Let's check it out.
It's an app millions use to find love all around the world, but a recent Toronto police investigation alleges Tinder was used to solicit sex trafficking victims here in the GTA. It all started when a woman came forward at a Scarborough police station saying a man was harassing her.
At some point, it was for the purpose of dating, perhaps to find love or a companion, whatever the case may be. What it resulted in is likely not what they were looking for.
It's not what two separate young adult women signed up for, but they suddenly found themselves thwarted into the sex trade. Interactions police say began on Tinder. The first woman was able to get away. The second woman wasn't as lucky. Police allege the suspects assaulted, threatened, and forced her to take photos used to advertise sexual services, also taking the money she made.
One of them was actually transferred from one trafficker to another, and as a result, she was servicing clients somewhere between Mississauga and the city of Toronto. And as a result, both of them have been removed from the situation and provided the resources that are required to help them exit the sex trade.
You're saying, it's possible to go from a dating app to being sex trafficked.
In this case, threats are made towards them and their families, and they feel the need to protect their family members. And again, these are some of the reasons why it's so important to contact the police so we can help with the exit strategy.
Toronto police arrested 3 people from Brampton back in December, laying a total of 21 charges against Joshua Hamblett, Sashana Wilkins, and Keegan Prophet. Among the charges, trafficking in persons by recruiting. Police say social media and dating apps play a significant role in human trafficking.
The people that they're looking for is not the person who's looking for love and is confident and can speak for themselves and stand up for themselves. They're looking for people who are vulnerable, who have vulnerable issues such as addictions, and they prey on people.
Not surprised. I mean, at Covenant House, we see upwards of 300 youth a day, and a proportion of those young people, young girls in particular, are experiencing sex trafficking.
Covenant House, an organization that works with at-risk kids and youth, says sex trafficking is on the rise here in Canada. The agency is also vocal about the issue, traveling to schools in the city, saying the majority of sex trafficking victims in the country are young. The average age estimated to be 17.
Currently, we're working with approximately 90 young women at Covenant House. So that's a significant number, and that continues to grow. Last year, I was sitting at about 80. So, and we're involved with those young women at various stages of change. Some of them are still involved in the game.
What are some of the misconceptions people have of sex trafficking?
I think the biggest one is that it's an international issue, and it's not. It's domestic. I mean, far and away, the vast majority, up to 90% of the young women are coming from our own neighborhoods, our own schools, our own communities.
We couldn't show you the investigator's face because he's an undercover officer on the case. We reached out to Tinder to ask about this investigation, but did not hear back. And police say they haven't made any contact with the dating app either. The accused have already each made a court appearance, and they're expected at the Eglinton Avenue East Courthouse sometime this month.
Okay, so how does Tinder find or recommend preferred types and partners? Here we have a little quote from Tiffany from 2019. It says, "You rose in the ranks based on how many people swiped right on or liked you, but that was weighted based on who the swiper was. The more right swipes that person had, the more their right swipe on you meant for your score." Essentially, this describes Tinder's algorithm. Though this isn't certain, we do think that Tinder may be involved in some type of illegal activity and may have connections with traffickers, allowing specific people or specific traffickers to come up on your page. So how does Tinder steal your location? Well, Tinder pings your location once you have the app open. This could mean in the background, or maybe you're not even like on it. And once you have it open, it just tracks your location. And it collects the data about its most recent ping and throws out the previous record. So if I were to use Tinder at home and then I travel to the mall and use Tinder there, what it does is that it tracks the mall's address and then it throws out the home address, allowing anyone that has access to that to accurately track me down, and they would know the last place I was at. So these are 3 of Tinder's policies. The first one is that it may store and disclose, meaning reveal, user-sensitive data. This may include age, sexuality, gender, ethnicity, and many more. The collected data can be sent to global serves and third-party companies for commercial or business-related purposes. So as you can see, Tinder is involved in these sort of acts, and these are often neglected or just unknown. So here we have a very traumatizing piece of evidence. In 2020, approximately 70,000 photos of women were shared on sites known for criminal activity. Obviously, these were taken without their consent. They probably sent it to someone that they thought were the love of their life, but they were involved in this sort of illegal business. So I'm going to pass it on to Duke, who's going to talk about the second most popular dating app, which is Bumble.
Okay, thank you so much, Dilaksha, for putting so much information about Tinder apps. So now here we are. How is Bumble affecting youth? And let's check it out.
बम्बल का वैल्यूएशन आज की डेट में $14 बिलियन है, बट लेट मी टेल यू, ऑनलाइन डेटिंग इज अ स्कैम। अब आप ये बोलोगे कि भाई ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है? आज की डेट में डेटिंग का मतलब है राइट स्वाइप और लेफ्ट स्वाइप। ऑनलाइन डेटिंग एप्स ने डेटिंग को कितना आसान बना दिया है ना। जहाँ पे पहले के टाइम पे आपको खुद को इंट्रोड्यूस करने के लिए इतने पापड़ बेलने पड़ते थे, वहीं पे आज ये खेल सिर्फ राइट स्वाइप और लेफ्ट स्वाइप का रह गया है। किसी को पार्टनर मिले या ना मिले, लेकिन सबसे ज्यादा फायदा उन कंपनीज का होता है जिन्होंने ये ऑनलाइन डेटिंग एप्स बनाई हैं। अब बहुत लोग ये सोचेंगे कि आखिर इसमें गलत क्या है, कम से कम ये एप्स आपको सिंगल से मिंगल होने में मदद तो कर रही हैं। वेल, ऐसा बिल्कुल भी नहीं है। डेटिंग एप्स की रियलिटी कुछ और है, और इस वीडियो में आपको ये भी पता लग जाएगा कि इन एप्स की जो रियलिटी है वो कैसे हमारे आंखों के सामने होकर भी हमसे। सो ये कहानी शुरू होती है 2012 में। 22 साल की विटनी वुल्फ हर्ट हैच लैब्स इंक्यूबेटर में काम कर रही होती है, जहां पे उनकी मुलाकात शॉन रैड से होती है। ये दोनों साथ मिलकर काम करना शुरू करते हैं और एक डेटिंग ऐप क्रिएट करते हैं, जिस डेटिंग ऐप को आज हम सारे लोग टिंडर के नाम से जानते हैं। जब कंपनी की शुरुआत होती है तो जस्टिन मिटीन कंपनी के चीफ मार्केटिंग ऑफिसर बनते हैं। कुछ ही टाइम के बाद जस्टिन और वुल्फ एक दूसरे को डेट करना शुरू कर देते हैं। उनका ब्रेकअप होता है, लेकिन जस्टिन ब्रेकअप के बाद वुल्फ को सेक्सुअली हरास करना शुरू कर देते हैं। जब इस बात की कंप्लेंट विटनी वुल्फ जाकर शॉन रैड को करती है, जो कि उस टाइम पे कंपनी के सीईओ थे, तो विटनी वुल्फ को कंपनी से निकाल दिया जाता है। लेकिन किसको पता था ये एक इंसिडेंट आगे चल के टिंडर की तकदीर बदल देगा। कोई सोच भी नहीं सकता था कि जिस ऐप को विटनी वुल्फ ने खुद बनाया था, वही ऐप आज उनकी डिप्रेशन का कारण बन चुकी है। इन खराब एक्सपीरियंसेस के बाद विटनी वुल्फ अपने नेक्स्ट आइडिया पे काम करना शुरू कर देती है, एंड दिस टाइम इट इज अबाउट वुमेन सेफ्टी। उनका आइडिया तो सिर्फ ऐसा सोशल नेटवर्क बनाने का था जो कि वुमेन के लिए एक्सक्लूसिव हो। वो इसके ऊपर काम ही कर रही थी कि उसी टाइम पे उनकी मुलाकात एंड्रयू एंड्रीव से होती है, और वो उनको कन्विंस कर लेते हैं टू कन्वर्ट दिस एप्लीकेशन इनटू अ डेटिंग साइट। और ये वो जगह है जहां से शुरुआत होती है बम्बल की। वुल्फ टिंडर के 2 एम्प्लॉयज क्रिस गल्कनिस्की और सारा मिक, इन दोनों को पोच करती है बम्बल बनाने के लिए। बम्बल को बनाने के पीछे का आइडिया बहुत सिंपल था, व्हाई वुमेन शुड फॉलो रूल्स। आई नो, अब आप यही सोच रहे होगे कि जो कंपनी इतने अच्छे इंटेंशन से शुरू हुई थी वो इतनी खतरनाक कैसे हो सकती है। वेल, इसको समझने के लिए हमें बम्बल को बहुत ही गहराई से समझना होगा। तो देखो, इस दुनिया में कोई भी बिजनेस इन 3 में से किसी एक कॉन्सेप्ट के ऊपर बनाया जाता है। किसी भी बिजनेस की ग्रोथ और प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी इस बात पे डिपेंड करती है कि वो बिजनेस आखिर कौन से कॉन्सेप्ट के ऊपर बिल्ड किया गया है। नंबर 1, नीड कॉन्सेप्ट। इस कॉन्सेप्ट के ऊपर बने हुए बिजनेसेस मार्केट के अंदर किसी एक पर्टिकुलर नीड को फुलफिल करने के लिए बनाए जाते हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल, आप कोई भी क्रिप्टो ट्रेडिंग प्लेटफॉर्म उठाकर देख लो। जिस टाइम पे पूरी दुनिया क्रिप्टो करेंसी के अंदर ट्रेड कर रही थी, तब इंडिया के अंदर इस चीज की नीड बहुत थी, लेकिन कोई प्लेटफॉर्म नहीं था जो इस नीड को फुलफिल कर पाए। दूसरा, द लेवरेज कॉन्सेप्ट। इस कॉन्सेप्ट के ऊपर बने हुए बिजनेसेस का सोल मोटिव होता है कॉम्प्लेक्स से कॉम्प्लेक्स चीजों को ईज आउट करना। एंड कोई भी बिजनेस मार्केट में जब कंज्यूमर्स की नीड को सेटिस्फाई करने के साथ साथ उनको लेवरेज प्रोवाइड करता है, देन इट क्रिएट्स अ विन विन सिचुएशन। फॉर एग्जांपल, लोगों को बुक्स पढ़ना पसंद नहीं था। इनफैक्ट आज भी बहुत सारे लोगों को बुक्स पढ़ना पसंद ही नहीं है, और इसलिए कुकू एफएम ने अपने प्लेटफॉर्म के ऊपर सैकड़ों बुक्स की नॉलेज को ऑडियो बुक्स की फॉर्म में लोगों को प्रोवाइड करा। अब लोग बोर भी नहीं होते और कुकू एफएम के ऊपर ऑडियो बुक्स सुनकर अपनी नॉलेज को भी बढ़ा लेते हैं। ये छोटे छोटे बिजनेस के कॉन्सेप्ट्स हमको स्कूल में सिखाए ही नहीं जाते, इसलिए तो द फास्ट लेन मिलियनेयर एंड व्हाई डिडंट दे टीच मी दिस इन स्कूल कुकू एफएम पे मेरे बेस्ट रिकमेंडेशंस हैं। देखो, आपको भी मालूम है और मुझे भी कि आदि 50 कूपन कोड से ना 50% ऑफ सिर्फ स्टार्टिंग के 250 लोगों को ही मिलेगा। तो टाइम कम है और लोग ज्यादा हैं, डिस्क्रिप्शन में लिंक है, मर्जी आपकी है। बट सबसे ज्यादा मजेदार होते हैं वो बिजनेसेस जो इस थर्ड कॉन्सेप्ट के ऊपर बने होते हैं। वो थर्ड कॉन्सेप्ट है द ग्रेटिफिकेशन कॉन्सेप्ट। इस कॉन्सेप्ट के ऊपर बने हुए बिजनेसेस का काम सिर्फ अपने कस्टमर्स को अच्छा फील करवाना होता है। बट इस बात में एक ट्विस्ट है, आप अच्छा तो तब भी फील करोगे जब आपकी नीड फुलफिल हो जाए या फिर आपका काम आसान हो जाए, लेकिन वो फीलिंग आपकी बहुत ही लिमिटेड टाइम तक रहेगी। बट जो बिजनेसेस ग्रेटिफिकेशन के कॉन्सेप्ट के ऊपर बने होते हैं, उनका मेन काम होता है आपको इस ग्रेटिफिकेशन के लूप में जितना हो सके उतने टाइम के लिए इंटैंगल रखना। एंड बम्बल इसी कॉन्सेप्ट के ऊपर बना हुआ है। लेकिन अब सवाल ये आता है कि बम्बल आखिर ये सारी चीजें करता कैसे है। बम्बल ईयर ऑन ईयर 70% की ग्रोथ रेट से ग्रो कर रहा है। विद ओवर 100 मिलियन एक्टिव यूजर्स, बम्बल सुपर प्रॉफिटेबल भी है। बट इस ग्रोथ के पीछे का जो मैकेनिज्म है वो किसी को मालूम ही नहीं है। तो आखिर क्या है वो मैकेनिज्म? सो इसका जवाब है डेटा प्लस ELO सिस्टम। अब आखिर ये कैसे काम करता है? सो जैसे कोई भी बंदा बम्बल के ऊपर प्रोफाइल बनाता है तो बम्बल उससे ये सारा का सारा डेटा कलेक्ट करता है। नंबर 1, आपकी डेटिंग प्रेफरेंसेस। नंबर 2, आपकी एज, लोकेशन और आपकी पर्सनल इन्फॉर्मेशन। नंबर 3, आपके पॉलिटिकल व्यूज। आप ए पॉलिटिकल हो, आप किसी पर्टिकुलर पार्टी को सपोर्ट करते हो, ये सारा इन्फॉर्मेशन भी बम्बल कलेक्ट करता है। एंड नंबर 4, आपकी एजुकेशन और आपका वर्क प्रोफाइल। आई नो आप क्या सोच रहे होगे, लेकिन लेट मी टेल यू, बम्बल इस डेटा को सेल नहीं करता है। ये डेटा सिर्फ इसलिए कलेक्ट करा जाता है ताकि बम्बल आपको एक सही प्रोफाइल के साथ मैच करवा पाए। लेकिन क्या आपको पता है कि ये मैचिंग आखिर होती कैसे है? और यहीं पे काम आता है बम्बल का ELO सिस्टम। तो देखो, बम्बल के ऊपर जितनी भी प्रोफाइल्स होती हैं उन सब की अपनी एक रैंकिंग होती है। अब आखिर ये रैंकिंग उन प्रोफाइल्स को मिलती कैसे है? सो देखो, किसी भी प्रोफाइल की जो रैंकिंग है वो इस बात पे डिपेंड करती है कि उसको कितने लोगों ने राइट स्वाइप की है। लेकिन इसके अंदर एक कैच है। ईएलओ सिस्टम के
sorry guys.
अंदर होता ये है कि जिस इंसान ने उसको राइट स्वाइप किया है, आखिर उसको कितने लोगों ने राइट स्वाइप किया हुआ है, इस बात पे उसके राइट स्वाइप की वेटेज डिसाइड होती है। फॉर एन एग्जाम्पल, एक लड़का है जिसका नाम है मयंक, उसको एक लड़की ने राइट स्वाइप किया जिसका नाम है श्रुति। अब देखो ये काम कैसे करता है। सो देखो, मान लो श्रुति को 50 लोगों ने राइट स्वाइप किया हुआ है। अब जब श्रुति मयंक को राइट स्वाइप करेगी तो मयंक के प्रोफाइल की रैंकिंग एकदम से बढ़ जाएगी। क्यों? क्योंकि उसको ऐसी प्रोफाइल ने राइट स्वाइप किया है जिसके ऑलरेडी 50 राइट स्वाइप्स हैं। वेराज मान लो कोई और लड़की जिसका नाम है रिया, उसकी प्रोफाइल पे सिर्फ 2 राइट स्वाइप्स हैं, तो जब वो मयंक को राइट स्वाइप करेगी तो मयंक की रैंकिंग उतनी ज्यादा नहीं बढ़ेगी, क्योंकि रिया के खुद की प्रोफाइल के ऊपर सिर्फ 2 राइट स्वाइप्स हैं। और इसी तरीके से ये ईएलओ सिस्टम काम करता है। आई नो, ये सुनकर बहुत सारे लोग ये सोच रहे होंगे कि अच्छा इसलिए हमको बम्बल पे मैचेस नहीं आते। वेल, ऐसा नहीं है, रियलिटी कुछ और है। और ये वो जगह है जहां से बम्बल अपना प्रॉफिट जनरेट करना शुरू करता है। सो देखो, बम्बल कॉन्स्टेंटली सेल्स यू होप। आई रिपीट, बम्बल कॉन्स्टेंटली सेल्स यू होप। लेकिन किसी को होप सेल करने के लिए पहले इंसान को होपलेस फील करवाना पड़ता है। सो देखो बम्बल ये कैसे करता है। जैसे आप बम्बल पे प्रोफाइल बनाओगे और थोड़ा सा यूज करना शुरू करोगे, आपको 1-2 राइट स्वाइप्स आ जाएंगे। ये देखकर आपको लगेगा यार मैं तो कितना ऑसम हूँ, मेरे को इतनी जल्दी लोग पसंद करने लग गए। लेकिन एज यूजुअल वो प्रोफाइल्स हिडन होंगी। अब एक्साइटमेंट तो आपको बहुत होगी, लेकिन बहुत ही हाई चांसेस होते हैं कि जिन अकाउंट से आपको लाइक्स आए हैं वो बॉट अकाउंट्स हों। तो देखो ये होप सेल करने का सिस्टम आखिर कैसे काम करता है। सो जैसे ही आपको दिखता है कि आपको कोई लाइक आया है, आप उस प्रोफाइल को देखने के लिए बम्बल का प्रीमियम प्लान बाय कर लोगे और 70% लोग यही करते हैं। लेकिन बाय चांस अगर आपने प्लान बाय नहीं किया तो सो देखो, अगर आप प्रीमियम प्लान नहीं बाय करते तो आपको मैच आने के चांसेस बहुत ही कम हो जाते हैं। और ये चीज एल्गोरिदम खुद करता है ताकि आप प्रीमियम प्लान लेने पर मजबूर हो जाओ। एंड इवन इफ यू गेट मैचेस, सिर्फ 15 to 20% चांस होता है कि वो मैचेस एक जेन्युइन अकाउंट के हो। लेकिन एक बार को मान लो कि आपने प्रीमियम प्लान बाय कर लिया है, अब तो आपकी लॉटरी लग जाएगी। वेल, ऐसा बिल्कुल भी नहीं है। इंटरेस्टिंगली, अगर आप प्रीमियम प्लान खरीद भी लो तब भी आपको मैचेस आने के चांसेस बहुत ही कम होते हैं, क्योंकि जैसे आप प्रीमियम प्लान बाय करते हो तो एल्गोरिदम कुछ नहीं करता, वो आपकी प्रोफाइल को बाकी प्रोफाइल से ऊपर लिस्ट कराना शुरू कर देता है। दैट्स ऑल। लेकिन सवाल ये आता है कि अगर ऐसा है तो लोग इन एप्स को यूज करना क्यों नहीं छोड़ते और लोग बार बार इन एप्स की प्रीमियम सब्सक्रिप्शन क्यों बाय करते रहते हैं। वेल, इसका रीजन है टेंडेंसी ऑफ ओवर कॉम्पेंसेशन। आई नो बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स साउंड कर रहा है, थोड़ा सा इजी भाषा में समझाता हूँ। तो अकॉर्डिंग टू बिहेवियरल साइकोलॉजी, हम लोगों का जो एनवायरनमेंट होता है वो हम लोगों के बिहेवियर्स को शेप करता है। सो देखो, पुराने जमाने में ना तो इंटरनेट था और ना ही सोशल मीडिया, तो उस टाइम पे लोग ट्रैवलिंग, स्पोर्ट्स, गेट टुगेदर्स, फैमिली टाइम, इन सारी एक्टिविटीज को परफॉर्म करके खुद को ग्रेटिफाई करते थे। लेकिन जैसे जैसे सोशल मीडिया ने रफ्तार पकड़ी, लोगों को इंस्टेंट ग्रेटिफिकेशन की आदत लग गई और इस आदत की वजह से हर एक बंदे को हर एक चीज जल्दी से जल्दी चाहिए, कोई भी वेट नहीं करना चाहता। और यहीं पर तो डेटिंग साइट्स का सारा गेम छुपा हुआ है। आज के इस इंस्टेंट ग्रेटिफिकेशन के जमाने में डेटिंग साइट्स गिव यू होप फॉर अ फास्ट रिलेशनशिप विद कन्वीनियंस। और जब ये इंस्टेंट ग्रेटिफिकेशन का ह्यूमन बिहेवियर कंबाइन होता है इन डेटिंग साइट्स के एल्गोरिदम के साथ, तो ये आपको मजबूर कर देता है इन डेटिंग साइट्स के प्रीमियम सब्सक्रिप्शंस को बाय करने पर। सैड बट ट्रू, ज्यादातर डेटिंग साइट्स इसी तरीके से काम करती है। आफ्टर ऑल इट्स ऑल बिजनेस। लेकिन एजुकेशन सेक्टर में जो कंपनीज लोगों के साथ करती है वो इससे बहुत ज्यादा भयानक है। राइट वाली वीडियो देखोगे ना तो जान जाओगे।
What are Bumble's policy? So firstly, you have to be at least 18 years old to register for an account. And also there are some banned activities on Bumble. So any image or contents who contains language or imagery meant to be offensive or likely to harass, upset, embarrass, alarm, or annoy any other person. And also contents including obscene, pornographic, violent, or otherwise may offend human dignity is also banned on Bumble. And other contents who are banned on Bumbles are abusive, insulting, or threatening contents. And Bumble just strongly discourage any illegal activity, including terrorism and activities without limitation, such as sex trafficking and organ trafficking. So although Bumble have all these policies, they don't actually take it that seriously. So if you are post something that contains any of the contents who looks like this, they won't immediately take you down, and they might just be there forever. And how does Bumble store location? So when you're online, Bumble will guess your location based on the device GPS data and Wi-Fi information, meaning that the apps will know where you are and when you are using the app. And moving on to a third app it's called HiMet, and it is a live stream app. So this is the app that has a suspicious description of the app. It's called Fancy Live Show, and by having the age policy of their user to be 70 plus, they can use this policy to manipulate young teens into human trafficking and sex trafficking. And they also ask your personal information by asking you to log in into your Facebook so that they can have your family information, and also your friends might also get involved into this activity. And again, how does HiMet steal location? So HiMet is actually different from the two apps we introduced earlier, Tinder and Bumble. So when you're installing the HiMet app, information about you will be collected during the download process, and users of HiMet are required to provide a phone number, city location, gender, and name. And they also steal location, steal your information through Facebook. We strongly encourage you guys, don't try out dating apps if unnecessarily. So yeah, and I'll now pass to Ada for job recruitments.
Yep, thank you to Duke and Deluxa for the insights on dating apps. And we are now going to, a time where we're all just trying to find either jobs on the internet or volunteer opportunities, and just wanted to share this to let you know how, a job finder on the internet can also just be pretty dangerous for you. So first of all, how do job finders work? And as the name suggests, a job finder finds you the job that matches your searches with intelligent algorithms. So you would enter your the role that you're trying to apply for, the pay that you are expecting, where you want to work, and how many hours per week you would like to work for, and they would give you a list of results. Some of these results are just basically seriously your best match for the position that you'd like to work for. However, there are others that, due to the reason that the sites don't actually scan or try to just test the employers there very strictly, sometimes the results are actually just human traffickers or illegal businesses that they are trying to engage you in. And so the sites you're using is generally not safe if they give you over promises. So if, for example, they are giving you a lot of benefits, for example, if the pay is really high and there's a low, no experience is required, low qualifications, but you can still get the job, and you don't even have to work that many hours, then chances are they are actually not a legitimate company. Because if you think about it in their shoes, you are trying to make money, so why would you give such high benefits for little work in return? And so this is why you may want to be a little bit suspicious if you may want to suspect them a little bit that they are very suspicious if they give you a lot of overpromises, as well as if they give you no answers to the questions that you're asking for, nor they are asking you questions. So in a formal business setting, you would have to have interviews, and they will have to answer your questions that you are interviewing them, because you're trying to see if the company you're applying for is your best match. However, if they are not providing you the answers that you are asking for, chances are they are trying to hide some information from you, and the things that you're hiding, you never know what it is. So maybe be aware that sometimes they want to hide illegal stuff from you, maybe, or just things that they don't want you to know. And if they are asking you to meet you in person, they would usually either have it in a very formal business setting in their own company, or maybe just at a Starbucks or Tim Hortons, that type of stuff. But if they give you another very unusual location request for the interviews or meetups, try to bring a third person who you trust, who has the ability to protect themselves first, or just refuse that request and choose another place, or just keep it online. Because sometimes, especially if they have you at a place that you are not familiar with, sometimes it is very unsafe to just follow them through, and you may fall into their trap. And the fourth one is that you want to watch out for the awkwardly worded statements or contracts, agreements that you are signing, because a lot of times you think you have interpreted what you are signing for, but you actually don't because it's worded so awkwardly. So you always first want to read through everything that you are signing for, and second, make sure that you understand it thoroughly and have the same understanding as the person on the other side. You may as well bring it to a trusted adult or a lawyer to read it for you, but just make sure that you don't just sign it without reading. And the fifth one is that if there is any odd cash flows, if they are having such a huge amount of money coming in at 1 second and then a huge amount of money flowing out, then just be aware that they may not be selling goods, but they may be selling people or just other illegal stuff. So that is something that should raise a red flag for you. And if you are doing research before you meet up with someone and you can't really find a lot of information about them, this is another chance, just like I said before, that they're trying to hide stuff from you. So try to just keep safe or do not meet in person with them or provide any information of yourself unless you have that information about them. And the last one is just trust your gut feeling. If you are feeling that the person that you're talking to is not safe, chances are they're probably not safe. So trust yourself. Don't need to force yourself to be part of any organization, any company, and just trust how you can protect yourself with your gut feelings. And so that is what you should not do, and now is what you should do. So make sure that first of all, do research before you provide any personal information. You have to know who they are, what they're doing, where they are, that type of information before you share your own personal information. And the second one is you want to have a trusted adult or lawyer read through any contracts before signature, and that's mentioned before because you want to know that you are signing for something that you know what you are doing and they know the same thing. So you're not really actually just voluntarily selling yourself off to the other person. And the last one is you always want to have a third person know where you are at and who you are with. So if you're having an in-person meetup with a company or just the HR person interview, always let them know that a third person other than you and the interviewer know where you are at or just came with you, so that they are more unlikely to do you any harm. And we also have this video on a contract lawyer who have been just reading through laws that are violating human rights or maybe even be part of human trafficking.
When I first heard about the 51 Charlie MOS, I really didn't know too much about it. I thought what most people thought, which was, just pushing around paper, looking at a contract, signing it, and moving on to the next thing. As a contract specialist, every day is different. One day I could be working on a construction contract down in Atterbury to getting gym equipment out here in the Stout Field, to getting soldiers fed for a drill day, to even buying huge concrete blocks for sling load training for helicopters. In 2018, I deployed with a team of 5 contract specialists to Kuwait, and we were all given different tasks. My mission just happened to be combating trafficking in persons. So the reason for my mission was because all the contracts we had to administer overseas had a policy in place that required us to ensure that no offenses related to human trafficking were occurring. There was one instance where we found out some of the employees weren't being treated to standard. They were actually being held against their will, and also their personal effects were being withheld. And when we found that out, it was right in the middle of the night. So my partner and I, because it was just a small team that was conducting this mission, went out to the man camp that they were at. So the rewarding part of this job was that we were indeed actually able to help some of those individuals that were helping us. So coming back home, I'm definitely doing something different now, but I'm still a contract specialist. And I think that just goes to show that this job has so many different opportunities available for me. And I think I'll continue to keep doing it because it's one of those jobs that you just won't get bored of.
Yes, so for the first one where you are offered a job or volunteer opportunity online, and when you're asked what you would do, first you should ask questions and look for professional answers. A proper company or a proper employer would be able to answer any question you have. Next, we have to check the meetup location. So search it up online, kind of look where you're going, and don't meet with people who request unusual locations. So somewhere that they would want you to be alone and vulnerable, that's a big red flag. Also let a trusted third person know your location at all times so that they always know where you are. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Also, we talked about having a trusted adult or a lawyer read through any contracts before you sign it, just to make sure that you understand the contract completely. And if it's worded to kind of trick you, then I'm sure an adult or a lawyer would catch that. Also, check the company's cash flow. Make sure it's reasonable. If they have like a weird amount of money coming in and going out, that's also a red flag. Also, research the company. Legitimate companies will have a lot of information available. So yeah, if you don't really get the answers that you need, then the company is probably sketchy and up to no good. So you want to avoid that. For the next scenario, an internet friend or a date asks you to meet in person. So you want to make sure that you've gotten to know them well enough. Of course, you'll never actually be 100% sure, but I mean, if you talk to them enough to be confident that they are who you think they are, sorry, you have better chances of them being who you think they are. And also make sure a trusted person has your location at all times, just as we said previously. Also meet in a public place and don't go anywhere private with them, especially on the first date or the first meeting. You want to make sure that you're in a space where you can be comfortable and surrounded by other people. Also, be aware of your surroundings and don't be under the influence. So especially on a first date and when you're with someone that you can't trust, try to be, I guess the word is sober, you don't want to be under the influence, but also beyond that, just be aware of your surroundings. And the last one is that you are chatting online and you have to maintain the line between chatting and sharing personal information. So there's a couple things that you should not share with someone that you just met. Don't share your home address, your phone number, your school or where you work, or even your last name. And don't talk about things that make you uncomfortable, and don't share your password. So yeah, those 3 things.
Yep, thank you so much, Raina, for the review on breakout rooms. And now we'll pass to Dilaksha for how to stay safe. And yeah.
So here are a few prevention methods or tips on how to stay safe and how to prevent yourself from being trafficked. So as you know, we're all high schoolers and we are required to volunteer either virtually or in person. And we must be cautious about where we are volunteering at, who are the executives, what are we volunteering for, what is the organization, and there's like so many aspects that you should acknowledge. And second of all, you should acknowledge or be aware about human trafficking and all the different types, which is the purpose of this presentation and the upcoming events. So don't support trafficking. If you see signs indicating that trafficking is taking place, please notify someone as soon as possible and avoid unsafe situations and recognize emergency contacts. So if you know that you're in an unsafe situation, you see the signs, and you need assistance, then obviously have a bunch of emergency contacts saved on your phone ahead of time, so that you're prepared during those situations.
So
In Canada, there are equipments that you could carry around that are prohibited but also allowed. And the prohibited products that Canada doesn't allow are pepper spray. You cannot carry that around as a safety equipment. By the federal law, it's they said it's like not allowed to carry on even for self-defense, or either any hidden knives. Like if you have seen those keychains where they have like locks that look like knives or anything that is close to it, it's not considered a self-defense product and you can't really use it, or like any sort of weapons. And the equipments that are allowed in Canada are a few examples are windbreakers. They're like keys that you could use to hide away the ability that you have in equipment. So you could just like use this as like a weapon. Bear spray? Okay, yes. So any like heavy keychains that like you have, so like you put like multiple keys on it or like multiple like equipment on it, it will look like you have a lot of keys so that it will just be easy to like move around and be able to hit somebody. Bear spray is when people go hiking or when they go like out into the forest, especially hikers, they need bear spray to like spray away bears, I guess, from attacking them. And so bear spray is legal in Canada and you can use this as a self-defense mechanism. The charges for it will not be considered anymore. It'll be thrown out because you could try somehow be able to convince the law and say that you use it as self-defense. Yeah, you know what? You should also throw your hands, be able to get active, try to act more crazy compared to the person, and use any equipment that is like close to you. So when it's raining, you could use an umbrella and hit the people, or you could use whatever you have in hand, even your hands too. Just try and move them away from you as far as possible. Try to attack them and just don't be afraid, because like it's better to just be able to like defend yourself than you know get anything bad happen to you. The main thing you have to do is be aware of your surroundings and not be afraid of just getting your hands a little bit dirty to keep yourself protected. And yeah, just be safe there, you guys.
Okay, so Amber Alerts. I'm sure almost everyone here knows about Amber Alerts, but for those of you who don't, Amber Alerts are also known as Child Abduction Emergency Alert. It's basically a message distributed by a child abduction alert system to ask the public for help in finding abducted children or for warning people about emergencies in their area. This was originated in the United States and is named for Amber Rennie Hagerman, who was abducted and later found murdered in 1996. Fun fact, AMBER is a acronym for America's Missing Broadcast Emergency Response. So Amber Alerts are provincially operated. Although the Amber Alerts can come out at bad times and are loud, they're important as there is a life at risk and we can help the police ensure their safety. In addition, only law enforcement can issue an Amber Alert, and they're sent out through Alert Ready Emergency Alert System, and reaching Canadians through a number of mediums as listed on the slide. And now I'm going to pass it on to Ada to add on to this slide.
There are Amber Alerts. It does not only report abduction from strangers, it also reports abduction from parents. And so I'm basically, disclaimer as well, I am just trying to, infer, I'm just making an inference. So if you look at this screenshot that I took, it was, I believe, last Friday on, I took it at like 6 a.m. No, hold on, it was 8 a.m. So, yeah, the victim seems to be the daughter of the suspect, and it could be because the parents was divorced or they have broken up, and the suspect just does not have custody of the victim. So even in this case, the Amber Alert would go off if the child is reported missing, and this is why Amber Alerts can sometimes be very effective, because it does not have a lot of limitations to who the suspects have to be or how long your child has to be missing for, or maybe for us aged not child, but how long you have been missing or your family or friends have been missing for. So this is why Amber Alerts is very effective, and don't be too annoyed by them going off in midnight now.
So we, Future Unchained, will be hosting a series of events in the future. So in March, we'll be talking about labor trafficking. And in April, we're talking about events for sex trafficking. And in May, we'll be talking about events for organ trafficking. Thanks for taking Global and the Government of Canada and Canada Service Corps for funding this organization. And lastly, don't forget to follow us on social media, on Instagram at futureunchained_Toronto, and our website is futureunchained.org.